Deion Sanders. We all know him, we all love him. From his iconic draft day drip to his recent shenanigans with Shannon Sharpe, Primetime has been in the limelight since he emerged as a star at Florida State University in the 80s. You can't go a day in the sports media world without hearing the name Deion Sanders.
I know how passionate Deion is. I know how much he loves to coach. I know how much he cares about the kids.
He left the blueprint, but there's no other Deion who can actually enact the blueprint because it's hard. You have to have Deion's personality, his drive, his force.
We know him now as Colorado football's newest head coach, the guy who could become a college football legend. But remember, his fame came long before his days in coaching. He's been a college athlete, a professional athlete, and even a media personality. The dude has completed so many side quests along the way.
This is your final question. What do you find most mind-boggling about the opposite sex?
Of course, during his time in the NFL, Deion was an 8-time Pro Bowler, won 2 Super Bowls, earned an NFL Defensive Player of the Year award, and, was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. If you clicked on this video, you probably are more than familiar with his football career. What if I told you he did this all while playing professional baseball? The story of Deion Sanders and his football legacy can often outshine what he did on the diamond, but it cannot be forgotten. Hi guys, it's Jordan. I hope you liked this video today. If you do, drop a like, a comment, subscribe, and hey, we just dropped some brand new merch. We've got many hats up now on the merch shop. Let's start at the only place we can, the very beginning. Sanders was an all-time high school athlete playing football, basketball, and baseball. He was so good that the Kansas City Royals selected him in the 6th round of the 1985 MLB draft. Deion did not sign and rather began his career at FSU. FSU showed the insanity of Deion's athletic talent as you could find him on the school's football, baseball, and track rosters. In his freshman year, Sanders was a starting outfielder for the Seminoles team that eventually finished 5th in the nation. He batted an impressive .331 while snagging 27 stolen bases in 1987. He even once played in the baseball conference tournament while competing in a track relay in the same day. Yep, you heard it right, the same day. But just wait, I'll have an even better 2-in-1-day exploit for you later on. Flash forward to 1988, he was once again selected in the MLB draft, this time to the New York Yankees in the 30th round. He received a spring training invite in 1989 and began the season in Class AA. Did I mention Deion was also the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft this year? Just keep that in mind. He quickly rose in the Yankees ranks and made his MLB debut on May 31st, 1989. In his rookie season, Sanders recorded his first MLB home run. In the same calendar year, Sanders scored a touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons. He became the first and only player to ever hit a home run in MLB and score a touchdown in the NFL in the same year. All I gotta say is take a look at my Madden and show stats. I've done it before too. It was clear at this point that Sanders was going to be a once-in-a-generation athlete. He knew it better than anyone. Sanders spent 2 seasons splitting time between New York and Atlanta to play in both leagues. He requested a decreased salary in the 1991 MLB season to be able to report to NFL training camp. At this point, the Yankees were not bought into Sanders on the diamond and gave him a release. He found a solution, landing a deal with the Atlanta Braves while continuing on with the Falcons. Deion was a big role player in the Braves' NL West Division title. Hey, did you know the Braves used to be in the Western Division? By the time the postseason came around, he had to report back to the Falcons, thus missing all postseason play. At least, that's what it seemed like. At this point, it appeared Deion's efforts to be a 2-sport professional athlete were just unsustainable, especially for the long haul. However, he was a key in the Falcons' success as one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He used that to his advantage. Deion was always somewhat of a part-time baseball player, having never played more than 100 games in any given season of his career. But by 1992, he had shown he could ball on the baseball field too. He led MLB in triples that year. He clocked in at about 30% better than the league average hitter if you go by OPS+. And he accumulated 3.2 wins above replacement in just 97 games. Just to give you a frame of reference for that, Bryce Harper had 2.5 WAR in 99 games just last season, and Bo Bichette had 3.5 in 159 games in 2022. All this really just goes to show that he had the on-field talent to be one of baseball's best players if he did it full-time. He just never did it full-time. In 1992, Sanders reworked his baseball contract, allowing him to report to the Falcons but return to the Braves for the postseason. By that fall, the Braves had punched their ticket to extra baseball and the NFL season had begun. This leads to one of the best stories of Sanders' career. The Atlanta Braves versus the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1992 NLCS. Game 4 on October 10th featured Deion Sanders as a pinch hitter. Immediately following the game, he hopped on a jet to Fort Lauderdale to make it to his next obligation. On October 11th, Deion and the Atlanta Falcons were set to face the Dolphins in Miami at 1 p.m. In Pittsburgh, the Atlanta Braves would face the Pirates in Game 5 of the NLCS later that night. One man, two games, two cities, two leagues, and history on the line. Could Sanders be the first athlete to play a professional football and baseball game on the same day? At 3:52 a.m., Sanders arrived to his hotel in Miami. At 10:45 a.m., Sanders boarded the Falcons team bus. At 1:01 p.m., Sanders appeared in the NFL game. At 4:02 p.m., that game ends. By 4:55 p.m., Sanders arrived at his helicopter to take him to Pittsburgh. 8:28 p.m., Sanders makes it to Three Rivers Stadium minutes before first pitch. There he was, suited up, in the Braves dugout, but he never made it in the game. As Sanders says himself, people say Prime played in 2 sports in one day. I didn't. I suited up for 2 sports in one day. Even that is an accomplishment that basically only Deion has earned the right to brag about doing at the professional level. No matter the call, Sanders' day was a historic one. It's even got its own 30 for 30 documentary, Deion's Double Play. Go watch that for the entire story on this day. There is so much more to it. The Braves ended up advancing to the World Series. Prime continued to play on both teams. Deion batted .533 with 8 hits, 2 doubles, and an RBI in the Fall Classic. While the Toronto Blue Jays ultimately defeated Atlanta in 6, Deion's story was historic. He cemented himself as one of the best multi-sport athletes of all time, playing in the World Series while simultaneously on an NFL roster. In 1994, Sanders was traded to the Cincinnati Reds. He appeared in 79 games through 2 seasons. By 1995, he was sent to the San Francisco Giants, where he played 52 total games. In 1997, it was back to the Reds for Prime. He finished second in the NL with 56 stolen bases that year. It was at this time Deion decided to focus on football. After all, he always said, "I'm married to football. Baseball is my mistress." He eventually returned to the Reds from his 3-year hiatus in 2001, but was ultimately released from the team. He then signed a minor league contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. This would lead to his retirement from baseball. At this point, Sanders was with the Washington Redskins. His contract contained the same loophole for him to play both baseball and football, but it required him to be on a major league roster. When training camp for the Redskins came around, Deion was still in the minors. This violated his contract. He hit a solo home run and an RBI single in what would be his final professional baseball game. It was the end to an incredible multi-sport career. The journey wasn't easy for Sanders. Through every year, Prime was pushed to pick a sport. They urged him to have a focus that would benefit himself and his team. Sanders was persistent in living out every kid's dream of being a star athlete in every avenue. His baseball career is always going to be in the shadow of his football life. But Deion Sanders' MLB career should only add to the legacy and reputation of just how deep his talent ran. Deion's inhuman athletic ability paired with his flamboyant personality allowed him to carry on this dream for as long as he did. Atlanta Braves manager Bobby Cox said it best, "There's never been a problem like this. There's never been a Deion Sanders either." Of course, Deion's heart has remained in football through his current coaching career, but he still takes the time to reflect on his days on the diamond. For all you people out there who say baseball is easy, this one's for you.
That ball does some things to you, bro. Any sport that you could fail 7 out of 10 times and become
great, you're great.
And make $200-300 million in it, that's a hard sport.
Right.
Prime is one of the greatest competitors in the world. His name forever resides in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as one of the greatest to do it. His overall accolades cement him as one of the best overall athletes of all time. But Sanders still hates that he wasn't the best baseball player.
The challenge, man. I love challenges, and I could not master it. And it frustrated me because I hate to lose, and I hate not mastering something that I know if I just had more time, I could.
We'll continue to see Prime rule the football world for many years to come. But we hope now, when you see him between those hash marks, you remember what he was able to do on the diamond too.